and welcome to In Business Talks 2. We are excited to welcome you to our bonus episode, The Friday Fix, episode 19. We are your hosts, Tracy and Ian Earle, founders of In Business, a networking and business support community. And together,
we are In Business. Every Friday we will be discussing a business-related subject with either one of our wonderful In Business networking members or a fellow business owner who'll be sharing their advice, thoughts or knowledge on a particular topic. This week we have the lovely Laura Norman of Chroma Marketing. Oh, and make sure you listen to the end of the show to hear Laura tell us about her favourite networking tip. Right, so welcome to our episode of the Friday Fix, and today we have with us Laura Norman of Chroma Marketing.
Welcome, Laura. Good to have you with us today.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Now we know we've known you a long time, but we know that you're an advocate of the brand story by Donald Miller. So I think that's what we're going to be talking about today, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Yes, I am definitely.
Before we start, can you just tell us a little bit about what you do?
Sure. So I'm a marketing consultant. I run a company called Chroma Marketing. There's 4 of us in the team. We work with small businesses and social enterprises, including charities, to build a marketing strategy. So we are there to help them build their community, create clearer opportunities where they can, advance their marketing, but also develop a sustainable marketing strategy. So for us, it's about understanding where a business is at and also where they want to be in the future and bringing out of that the marketing that's going to work best for them. All about, increasing visibility, getting more people talking with them, so their customers or their audience. And generally, we like shouting about people that are doing good things.
Right. Good.
So that's
excellent.
Us.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And as Tracy says today, you're here to talk to us about you're a keen advocate of the brand story. So
I am.
So we'll talk to hear about that. Yeah.
And do you tend to use that a lot with your clients? Is that?
We do. Yeah, we use it as part of. Context-wise, it's a book called Building a Story Brand by Donald Miller, and it's a really good book for framing how to communicate in order to resonate with your audience in the most effective way. And we use it as part of our kind of preliminary stages of working with clients. We always do a brand strategy with people when we start working with them, and it forms part of the fundamentals of that, really.
So how can a small business apply this theory to their marketing then?
Yeah, so the theory is based on the structure of a storybook. So you have a character, that character comes into a problem, they meet somebody to help them with that problem, and it all ends happily ever after. And in this, there's very restricted version of it, but essentially what you're thinking about is that you're the guide in the story. So rather than you being the character as a business, your audience are the character, and you are the person helping them with their problem. And what it does is it reframes your thought process around how you should be communicating with your audience. A lot of businesses over time have fallen into the trap, really, of talking about themselves. Marketing can become very me as a business, instead of it being about the customers. And the structure just completely reframes that mindset so that you're focusing on the value you can give to your audience rather than your own success, I guess.
Yeah.
So
because stories are very powerful, aren't they? They always have been. Yes, it's good. It's clever.
Definitely. Yeah, it's just an easy structure. The actual framework itself, which you can access if you've read the book, it's a very simple structure, so it doesn't complicate it. I think you can sit there thinking, right, well, what on earth is my story here? How do I make sure that what I'm saying reaches and resonates with my audience? And it can be a bit overwhelming when you start to reframe your mindset around marketing, but actually the structure itself is just really simple. So it makes it so much easier, and then your messages are way more effective for your target audience.
And what are the things you should be thinking about when before you start this? Can you give us? I'll put you on the spot here, Laura. Can you give us an example of how you might apply that as a client, as a business?
Sure. So the way we try and kind of use this is very much at the beginning of your marketing journey. So whether you're rebranding and you're an established business, you're kind of changing things up, or whether you are starting up brand new, it's a really useful exercise to do before you start delving into the world of marketing campaigns, because what you don't want to do is get, 6 months down the line, you've got your website, you've started social media campaigns, then you have to change everything. because you realize that you're not talking to your customers' needs, you're talking to your own. So I would say that for any business starting a marketing journey, no matter what stage of business they're at, do a piece around understanding who your target audience is first, because it's really important that you know how they behave, some demographics, what they believe in and are passionate about, and then write the story. Right. Because if you've not identified who that person is, it can be very difficult to then get out of the story the value that you're trying to get out, to then convert it into a marketing message. And where I would apply it is then thinking of your website homepage, for instance. If you can take somebody through their story on your homepage of the website, which is really what you should be doing, it's going to be much more impactful. The same with social media messages. If you've got a slightly more, say, sales-oriented social media post, you've got a call to action that leads somebody into your funnel, then that's the structure I would use for that post. So what's the problem they're facing? How is that manifesting? So I guess an example could be we've been working with a climate change organisation. They create resources for schools about climate change in line with the curriculum. What we did with them is go through the story brand structure before then developing their marketing campaigns. And what we did was identify that their key target audience are the teachers behind the scenes, and we understood their age range and the likelihood that they would be talking about climate change. So they might be interested in sustainability generally, they might be vegan and things like that. And what we then did was write the story brand structure. So we went through, what is it that they actually need or want before knowing you exist as an organisation, before knowing that these resources were available to them. Then how does that manifest? So what's happening in that business is kind of triggering them to think that they need something. Mm-hmm. And then that's when you introduce yourself to the conversation. And that's where, for us, with this example, we identified that the teachers needed something in line with the curriculum, that they wanted to teach the young people about the importance of climate change, but on a young person's level, if that makes sense. And what was happening was that they were struggling to find stuff that they could put into their general teaching without having to create all new resources and spend time doing things after school, which teachers are busy enough as it is. So then when we introduced Eco Heroes, the brand, into the story, it was then, right, well, they've worked with, umpteen schools and provided all these resources for free and all of that stuff. So, and we did that on social. We used social media and had the call to actions that led people into downloading the resources. We had call to actions that were more to do with having conversation and engaging people in that conversation to have a bit of a movement online. So the way you can apply it is by pulling out the key information from that story brand structure into your marketing messages, whether that's on social, at an event, on a website, on a leaflet.
Video, I suppose, as well, isn't it?
Exactly. Yeah. Massive for video, definitely.
I guess it's the sort of identity transformation, isn't it? It's where your client or customer was before they started working with you.
Yeah.
To where they are after they've been working with you. And that difference, that if you can show that in your marketing, that is your story, isn't it?
Exactly. It's a bit of a mindset shift, to be honest, using this structure, because I think in the past there's been a lot of marketing which is very much about showing the features and benefits of your product or service, whereas actually this kind of structure around telling the story and showing your value, because you've shown your authority but also how you're helping your audience rather than why your product is so good, it makes a massive difference on conversion and putting more people into your pipeline because they actually relate to what you're saying. And I think, just thinking ahead, this is something that's going to become major in marketing as a whole, and there's going to be a massive mindset shift needed because of the types of consumers that are coming through. You've got a whole new generation coming through the pipeline now who are much more conscious and ethical, and if they can see that you are relating to them, they are going to see the value of your product or service much more, whether you're business to consumer or business to business. There is going to be this massive mindset shift, and I think the story brand structure, enables that conversation to happen in a way where the business, whether it's you or I, we're not going to get overwhelmed by the fact that we need to change the way we communicate with our audience because actually it's so easy to use and apply. The fact that you're resonating with your audience much more means that actually you're going to be able to convert more of those leads, because they see that you understand them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have any examples? I'll put you on the spot here, but do you have an example of a perhaps a big brand who follows this method? Just, I'm putting you on the spot here, Laura. I do apologise.
No, it's fine. Don't worry. So off the top of my head, I mean, the brands that do it well and communicate with their audience's needs well are people like Innocent Smoothies, Patagonia, those brands that are, I guess, a little bit more socially conscious.
Yeah.
Anyway, whether that's that they're doing something for society or the environment, it doesn't really matter. It's the businesses that you see it on their social media feeds. I mean, Innocent Smoothie is a great example, because actually what they constantly do is try and relate to their audience, and that's why their content goes viral, is because their audience find it hilarious or a bit tongue-in-cheek, and that's where it works. So it's about, like I say, because you're understanding who your audience are and the way they communicate, and their need, and they know you, because I mean, Innocent Smoothie is a massive brand. It's the same with Patagonia. They create outerwear and things like that. And they are very ethically conscious and sustainable as a brand. But what they've done is created this community of people that are exactly on their wavelength, because they've spoken to their audience's needs and what their audience want to see. Yeah. And I guess as a polar opposite of that, there are brands that are in trouble at the minute, like Brewdog. Oatly, the oat milk company, has been slated recently because of their financial situation, and there's others, big brands, that are in trouble with their customers because they're not kind of aligning with what their customers need or want. So I think that's becoming more and more apparent with Twitter and with social media, and the fact that brands are much more accessible to their customers now than they ever have been. I think that can massively impact whether you're the Innocent Smoothie kind of angelic seeming company, or actually you've done something that just doesn't resonate with your audience anymore. And there's been massive dips in shares and all sorts because of that now.
Wow. So it just shows you get your story wrong. And when you go into clients, if they've been doing a marketing for a long time, and they call you in and you sit down with them, do you often see, do they get like a light bulb moment when you go through it with them? Do they say, is there a ha-ha moment? Oh my God, yeah, you're right. This is so right. We should be doing it like this, and it obviously makes an impact or whatever.
Yeah.
Do you see that quite often?
Definitely. I mean, we, like I said before, we tend to do this as part of the preliminary work with people. So we do it right at the beginning, and because of the way we do it, we run through the story brand structure and then apply it to different areas of marketing. And when that happens, 100%, you see that kind of clarity. They get it.
Yeah.
And they know why that's going to be much more powerful than them saying how amazing they are at doing X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
That comes into it, but actually it's a kind of a secondary thing. The authority and reputation of your company is only a very small part of the structure. So yeah, definitely we get that light bulb moment, especially, like I say, when we actually apply it then to the kind of wider marketing scene. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because going back years on, when you had adverts on the telly, when you watch the adverts on the telly, now you can skip through them. It was all, oh, look at this, buy this. This is, it was all shout about the product, about the company. It wasn't about the customer,
how good we are, wasn't it?
And things have changed, haven't they, over the years?
Yeah.
And it is more about you. Well, it is all about your customer, isn't it? At the end of the day.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, just testament to that, you don't get so many shouting adverts anymore.
No.
Adverts aren't as noisy as they used to be. And I think it's exactly that. It's because they don't work anymore, to be completely honest.
People are fed up with them, aren't they?
People have changed.
Oh, yeah.
You just get
completely.
No.
Yeah, exactly.
And you can recognise it as well, can't you? What is a bad advert from years ago? Well, if you ever happen to look back or see anything,
makes you cringe, doesn't it?
What were they thinking? What were they thinking?
Yeah.
What were they doing?
But I suppose at that time they worked.
Yeah.
And I think that's just because of the nature of communication back, before digital and softer approaches. You're looking at things like TV adverts versus newspaper ads and that kind of thing, which, I think because now it's a mass communication formats that are available on so many different levels, not just things like TV ads. There's got to be a slightly softer approach, which is more meaningful, which is why we're probably not seeing as many of those shouty ones. And it's kind of like broadcasting to an empty room, really, isn't it? Those kind of shouting adverts. People want to be part of the conversation now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's having those conversations, isn't it, and getting them engaged, definitely.
Yeah. If people do want to get in touch with you, Laura, what is the best, if they want to find out more, what is the best way for them to get in touch with you?
Yeah, sure. Probably the best thing to do is contact us via our website. We've just had our website redesigned, so it's all jazzy now, easy to use, which is chromamarketing.co.uk. If you contact us through there, and then we can have a chat. We do have a free review in place, so if anybody wants to apply what we've talked about today to their own marketing, we can go through a review with them as well. So that's probably best.
Yeah, I think we did that, didn't we?
We had a free
Yeah,
review.
it's good. It's very good. Yeah, yeah.
And, you're on LinkedIn as well, aren't you?
I am. Yes, I'm all over LinkedIn.
Excellent.
Yeah. We'll put these links in the show
notes anyway,
so people can have access to them. Before we go, we always ask our guests if they have a networking tip that they could share with us. So I just wondered what your networking tip was.
Networking tip, Laura? Apart from turn up.
Well, yeah, that too. I think the thing that I often see people struggling with networking is, events are great to go to. You can have your breakfast or your lunch with people and socialise and you get that contact again. But I think the bit that people tend to miss is the follow-up. So it's making sure you've got a system in place for following up from networking, whether that's strategic partners, whether that's, potential projects that you could work on, having a system in place, whether that's, as simple as an Excel sheet or a CRM system, depending on what stage you're at in business, so that you spend time on your follow-up. I think it's just as important to spend, I guess, just as much time following up as it is actually networking. So that would be my tip.
Yeah, excellent tip there. I think that is probably the most important thing about networking, because that's why you go, isn't it? So many people miss the fact that they spend ages at these events and then stick a business card or they've collected or whatever it might be, put it in a drawer, and never contact anyone again. You think, well, what's the point? What's the point? Follow up, arrange for a coffee. Excellent tip there. Thank you, Laura. That's one of my favourites as well.
Well, thank you very much for being with us today. We've really enjoyed chatting with you. And
thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you for your time. It's some good stuff there. Yeah, and if anyone does want to get in touch with Laura, we'll put all the details in the show notes as well, like you said.
Great. Thank you very much.
Again.
Thank you.
Laura.
Take care. Bye-bye.
You too. Bye.
We're almost at the end of this week's show, but before we go, we are excited to tell you about our In Business Talks 2 episode this coming Tuesday.
So this coming Tuesday, we have a montage of questions that our couples have asked us during the course of our podcasting series.
Ooh, we're going to be on our own show. Wow, we are our own special guests. Cool.
Yes, so since we started back in, when was it? January? February?
March?
One of them.
Whenever.
Each couple has asked us a question at the end of their podcast, and we're going to amalgamate them all together to make one big episode. So
looking forward to that one.
So please listen out.
Yeah, listen out. Yeah. Thanks so much for joining us this week on In Business Talks 2 Friday Fix. We hope you've enjoyed it, and if you have, all we ask is that you simply tell a friend about the show. We'd really appreciate it.
Until next time, this is Ian and Tracy, and together we are in business. Goodbye.
Goodbye.